is on some of these things here. You walk past hate word painted walls. I mean, where I grew up in a place called Chard, which is a nasty, odious little place. Well, it's a generalisation. It was then. Whether it's changed or not, I have no idea. And there was a large Irish community in the estate. The estate had just been built when we moved in. I was in hospital from 65 through 66, or 66 through 67. I don't remember. We've been living in this prefab, which is a building just shoved up in the wall, 4 pieces of concrete, and I got rheumatic fever. And so they built this new estate, and but they were putting, I mean, it was a 2-tier town in many ways. Geographically, I mean, the town is built like on a hill, I'm really just thinking of this now. And this was right down at the very bottom, And as I think about it now, the higher up the hill you went, the richer the people got, So we were down in the gutter in several ways, I guess you could say, And they put us down there, and there was a large Irish community, and there was a large English community that resented it. And where we were to, our house came out this way here, and there was a block of flats over the road, but it was sideways on the flats, so it was just the brick wall. And it had Irish Alp spray painted on it, and of course the council wouldn't come and take that down, So you come out the front door in the morning with your school satchel, and it was a 3.2 mile walk to school. The rich kids who lived outside of town and only lived 2 miles away, they got free bus transport. But those of us that lived in the town, within the town's limits, because of the way the geographics of the town went, we had to hoof it. And man, that was a walk. I guess, I was going to say, if I hadn't got stripped down with motor neuron disease, I would probably live about 90. With all the walking, although one would get soaking wet. And you'd be exhausted before the day began, figuratively speaking, I don't recall, but I mean, you'd get there, I'm not going to mention their names, but I can see them now. And the posh boys where mummy brought them into school in the car, and dropped them off so they'd get out, And, in the morning it consisted of getting up and eating their breakfast, and, gradually getting dressed into their nice new uniform, and that Mommy or Poppy would drive them through and drop them off at the school gates, and here's your packed lunch. And I had to get up and, breakfast, you just couldn't, there was no breakfast. Now, I don't eat breakfast to this day because I just never ever had it, and you'd have to schlep all the way to school in whatever the weather were, so it was summer, and then you baked, and if it was autumn, then you got drenched, and etc., and winter you froze. And one would get there with school uniform in trousers that far away from your shoes, and obviously your shoes had holes in and stuff. Anyway, so I'm going off message here, I guess. But, so that may be where that came from, but obviously there aren't many walls around that don't have some hate words scrawled on them. And where's that line in there about the hand? Oh yeah, they stigmatize your father and harlotize your mother. Shake your hand and check to see if theirs has changed colour. Again, you're going right back to maybe 1970, 1972 there. That was a guy in Chard called Joe Santiago. He was still alive as of 2 years ago because I saw him in hospital. I mean, he must be about 120 now. A great man, a great human being. And I think he must have been the only black guy in child, and certainly the only one I know. And he was in those days, he had street cleaners, and he'd come around with his barrow, 2 brooms, and he'd just sweep up everything. And I can see now the paint scraper scraping up all the bubble gum. Bazooka Joe wasn't with this kind of pink stuff and everything. I could never make a bubble for the life of me. And all the kids adored him, and mainly because he would bring down. You couldn't do it in this day and age. When you're talking here, like I said, you're talking maybe, tickling 1970 maybe. And he had these nougat bars that he'd bring in. Whenever he came around with me, Joe, and he used to give us what we called swizzers, because it was a play area, and whereby he would, so he'd take your hands, you hold your hands in his, and then he would turn around and your legs would lift off the ground and he'd swizz you around like this. Can you imagine doing that in this day and age? Going up to some 9-year-old, 10-year-old boys and saying, I've got some confectionery for you, and now I'm going to lift you off your feet and give you a swizzer. But we adored him, and he was just a good human being, and a wonderful singer as well. He used to sing in the Ferdinand in various places in the evening. Very dignified man, so, and I got to know him as I grew up, and I left town when I was 15 to join the army, but I knew him then. I went back maybe one period. That's right, because my leg got smashed up when I was in the army, and I went back for a brief time in late 79. Everything I'd owned had been thrown out, and a lodge had been moved into my room. And man, did he suffer. A couple of bipolar alcoholics, man. Anyway, and I remember people would say the things, it was interesting, so we had the Irish contingent there that were being harassed and hounded and demonized by the white English people, because my family were mixed race, so it got even worse really, and but this one solitary black guy, I remember saying, oh, Joey gives us swizzers. Just vile stuff, I thought it was vile then at 10 years old, and as you can see, I'm still finding about that. The colour come off on your hands. People, but you could see this stuff on television at that time, and everything. So there you are, and it's still coming. I'm still writing about it now. I've probably gone over the 30 minutes that these files record, so I'm probably just talking to myself if it ever came out. If not, then thank you for your patience and your time. Sorry that I haven't been able to do more than I wanted to. It ended up to be more chat, a lot less recitals than I'd hoped on. Take care of yourselves. I'm going to try and balance myself up.